Hello, friends. Welcome to the Migrants on Air podcast, conversation with migrant leaders and advocates across regions. The Asia Pacific Mission for Migrants, APMM, launched this podcast as part of our effort to raise awareness and amplify migrants' campaigns. I'm Dewi Amelia, and I will be your host today. In this episode, we're going to talk about migrant workers in Aotearoa, New Zealand. We will explore their realities, issues, challenges, and campaigns pushing for a better condition. We will talk directly with a migrant worker in Aotearoa who is also part of UNEMIC. This is Migrants on Air. Let's get started. Hi, Mandip. Thank you so much for coming. Before we start, please introduce yourself.
Kira and Sashikal everyone. My name is Mandeep Bela and I'm the president of Union Network of Migrants in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I'm the ICB member of International Migrants Alliance.
Thank you, Mandip. Now, please share with us issues faced by migrant workers in Aotearoa, New Zealand.
We know that migrant exploitation, racism, and hatred are on the rise not only in Aotearoa but around the globe. In New Zealand, our immigration settings, politicians stroking division, and targeting migrants to shift blame for their own incompetence combined with employers' greed have created a very dire situation for many migrant communities. Over the years, there have been many media stories highlighting this gross treatment of migrants. And now that the elections are upon us, politicians like Shane Jones from New Zealand First and cult leaders like Brian Tamaki are again resorting to using migrants as scapegoats. From our point of view, we say that enough is enough. It is time to take action, to highlight real issues, to promote reasonable solutions to fix the holes in the system, and to unite people against hatred and racism. And to do that, we have just recently launched a campaign called Migrants Are Not Disposable Workers. Because from our point of view, it is not migrants' fault that the system ties them to one employer to widen the power imbalance. It is not their fault that the system has loopholes which employers are able to exploit to charge premiums for jobs, undercut wages, and to create conditions of modern day slavery. And it is not migrants' fault that policies are changed suddenly to create unreasonable English language requirements that do not fit the roles migrants perform or their ability to communicate on a day-to-day basis.
A campaign that says migrants are not disposable workers. Please tell us more about this.
So what we have done in New Zealand is that we have now put together our key asks through this campaign to put a stop to this. One is to end tied visas, which tie migrants to one their particular employers. And there has been extensive research around this. Human Rights Commission in New Zealand did their research, and also Productivity Commission did their research, which highlighted that tying of the visas has been one of the main reasons why there is exploitation happening in New Zealand. The other key ask is to suspend a 12-month stand-down period. Many migrants on temporary visas scheme, particularly accredited employer work visa scheme, they have to leave the country for 12 months at the end of their visa, even if they have their current job offer, even if the employer is keen to keep those workers, and even if workers are wanting to stay in New Zealand. This is really unfair for not only for those migrants but their families as well, because many of the kids have to suddenly leave their school, and their partners have to leave their jobs, and they have to uproot their whole family again and go back to their home country for another 12 months, which is not fair. So we are asking that that 12-month stand down period should be removed, because it is it creates unnecessary barrier for many migrant families and businesses. The third one is to have reasonable English language requirements for migrants in New Zealand. Currently, many migrants have to complete postgraduate level English language testing requirements, which are not fit for the roles they perform. For example, bus drivers in New Zealand, they don't need that postgraduate level English language requirements to perform their duties as a bus driver. In our view, that's quite discriminatory, and we want that to stop. Um, so our ask is that politicians remove that unfair requirement and suspend that until proper solution to this issue is done. So, in light of this, we just recently launched a campaign where we invited many migrants and politicians to talk about the immigration um, policies. And we are going to ask many political parties to commit to these changes before the election campaign and before the elections.
Thank you for sharing that, Mandip. To wrap up, maybe some words for closing remarks?
Um, I'm delighted to say that this is just the beginning for our campaign, and we will collectively amplify the voices of those vulnerable migrants to ensure that we create a system which truly values migrants and their contribution to Aotearoa. As elections are upon us, we are asking all migrants and all communities supporting migrants to actually sign our petition, which is live right now, and to commit to changing this brutal system and to break the cycle of exploitation.
Thank you so much, Mandip, for your time and sharing. I echo what the campaign says: migrants are not disposable workers. As we close today's conversations, let's reflect on the powerful points shared by Mandip. We've heard that migrant exploitation, racism, and hatred are on the rise, fueled by immigration settings, political scapegoating, and employer greed. Migrants are too often blamed for systemic failures when in reality they are the ones sustaining communities and industries. Mandip highlighted the campaign Migrants Are Not Disposable Workers, which calls out unfair policies that tie migrant workers to a single employer, impose sudden and unreasonable English language requirements, and enforce a 12-month stand-down period that uproots families and disrupts lives. The key demands are clear. One, end tight visas that create power imbalances and exploitation. Two, remove the 12-month stand-down period that unfairly forces families to leave. And three, establish reasonable English requirements that reflect the actual work migrants do. This campaign is about amplifying migrant voices, demanding fair treatment, and building a system that truly values their contribution to Aotearoa. As elections approach, the call is for communities to unite against hatred and exploitation and to push politicians to commit to real change. Friends, migrant workers are not disposable. They are essential, and supporting their rights means supporting fairness, dignity, and justice for all. So, please sign the petition. We will provide you with a link to the petition later. Thank you for listening. This is Migrants on Air podcast, conversation with migrant leaders and advocates across regions. See you.